Came into the Mysterium, I was at this massive crossroads in my life. I had just split from my husband of over 10 years, moved continents with my daughter, and started a new life as a single mom. And I was in this place where I was really craving connection to my purpose and my essence. And I was really guided towards the divine feminine, but I knew nothing about it. And I was really had let go of my spirituality for many years during my entire marriage. And so I was not sure how to reconnect back with myself and with my personal wisdom. Before I entered the Mysterium, I was someone who simultaneously held deep passion and determination and courage to walk my path, and at the same time didn't know how to do that, and had lost connection with my true self, and had really stifled her and shunned her and hidden her away, so I wasn't in my full expression. And I was so afraid to put myself out there in the world and to even say anything that was true or meaningful. And so there was this part of me that just really felt so afraid and unsafe. I feel like one of the most important pieces of this path is that we're pushed against our comfort zones. And we're asked to go beyond them and to feel into the core truth of what's going on. So if we're triggered by something or we're afraid, to really dig down and feel the weave and the threads of what's happening, and then tell the truth about it. Be vulnerable no matter how hard that is. And doing that has changed everything in my life. Just being able to tell that truth to myself and not be ashamed of how you feel. Many shifts started happening in my life. I started making decisions fully based upon that knowing, even when that knowing didn't make any logical sense. And an example of that would be when I was given an opportunity for a particular job that in the 9-to-5 world made sense. And I was essentially unemployed at the time. But I had this deep, strong knowing that I needed to not take that job and to continue working on the priestess path and allow and surrender for something to open up that was to occur. And I would have never listened to something that wasn't completely logical in the past. So it really made a significant difference. And I began making my decisions based on my personal knowing and how it felt in my body. The Mysterium helped me to shift to be more fully here because I gave myself permission to really trust myself and to expand my perception of what truth looked like, and to really begin to focus on what was true for me and to listen to that. It brought me to a place where I could liberate some of my fears and my unknowing, and to even uncover why some of those were there. And at the same time, then continue to really open my life up in a new way so that I could be of greater service. I would have never been in front of this camera when I first stepped into the Mysterium. I wouldn't have even wanted to. I had a hard time even making comments on the private Facebook group because I wasn't sure if I would say the right things or the wrong things, and I wanted to stay in the background. And this has opened the door for me to be able to really come into the truth of myself and to know that that's all I really have to do and that that's enough. So one of the greatest experiences of this Mysterium is to be able to receive tools to help you come into full acceptance of who you are. And an example of how this directly applied in my life is that I was driving on my way to meet a man for a date. We had never met before. And I'm a bigger woman, and in the past, I would send a reminder text to whoever I was going on a date with that, hey, just to remind you, I'm a bigger girl, because I was afraid that if I didn't, they wouldn't accept me. And I was afraid of that rejection. And I finally realized that what was happening is that I wasn't accepting myself. And if I was afraid of me, and if I couldn't accept my size, surely it didn't provide any room for the other person to do the same. So I stopped mid-text. I did not send it to this man. And I had a conversation in the car out loud with myself. And I said, no, I accept myself. It doesn't matter if he accepts me or not. I love myself, and I have plenty of people who love me. And it doesn't matter. And when I met him, by the time we met one another, I was greeted with a beautiful smile, a huge hug, and completely welcomed and accepted. It's because I know that I had really come to a place where I was fully standing in myself and accepting who I was with my body exactly the way it was. And so these are very tangible ways and tools that come through in your life that you get to practice on a daily basis that completely change an outcome of an event or your relationships with other people, but primarily with yourself. If you're sitting on the edge and you're unsure whether to join this mysterium or not, I would love to just take your hand and let you know that there are so many of us that have stepped through, and that it's changed our lives, and it's changed my life. And I was afraid. I didn't understand what priestessing was. I didn't understand the divine feminine. But I felt something in my body and my heart that pulled me towards this. And it has absolutely changed every part of my life, from parenting to relationships to my family to finding a sisterhood, but most importantly to coming to a place where I could find myself and begin to really live for my life and even just see who I am. So I would really encourage you to come to this mysterium and to allow your heart to open and expand to yourself and to all that's waiting for you.